welcome back to another episode of Find Me a Book podcast. Today we are starting our spooky books, except for this wasn't like spooky at all. It was mostly just like paranormal and occult. So I consider that spooky. That's going to be my version for this month. I know some people are doing like actual scary books and horror and all that, but that is not my jam. That will never be my jam. Take that jam and put it back in your pantry because that is not mine. I am very much feel good, fun, paranormal, like Paranorman and the cute like cartoons. Like I am all for that. So sign me up for that and not scary. I watched Charlie Brown, The Great Pumpkin yesterday. I'm just embracing it. I've been embracing this since July, I want to say. I actually haven't gotten my Halloween stuff out yet, which is very unheard of. Usually like August 1st, I'm like, oh, here's all my Halloween. But this year, I mean, y'all, I can barely stay consistent with these episodes because everything's just happening all at once. Especially like every October is always so busy for us with like people coming into town, events, just everything happening. And again, I know I probably at this point am not going to do a mini episode on the Flawless series by LC Silver. I know I told you I would, and I just don't think it's going to happen. I'm just going to be straight up honest. Unless I find a spare hour. Actually, I probably could. I don't know. It's still TBD. This week, though, so for our mini episode, I am going to be doing Drop Dead Sisters by Amelia Diane Coombs. So this isn't released until November, but I really want to get it out there so that you guys can kind of anticipate it. It's not a very big read, but I'm excited because it's about these sisters that find like a dead body, and it's kind of like true crime-ish. And then for next week, I am going to be next week's like real like podcast episode. I'm going to be doing Love in the Time of Serial Killers by Alicia Thompson. She has 2 books out, and I want to say probably next Thursday I'll be doing her second one as a mini episode. But yeah, I'm trying to stay on theme with kind of like spooky serial killer crime, that sort of vibe. You're getting what I'm saying. And so today's book worked perfect with that. I've had this book a couple months now. It was my first trip to Bookman's here in Arizona, and I picked it up for $10, and it was way worth $10. It was so good. It's A Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon by Sarah Hawley. I want to say that this came out, let's look and see when this came out. This was released 2023, so last year. She does have 2 other books in the series, so 3 books total. Let's see what they're called. So we have this one, and then A Demon's Guide to Wooing a Witch, and then A Werewolf's Guide to Seducing a Vampire. So all 3 of them are out. It's the Glimmer Falls series. And then Sarah, the author, is starting a new series. The first one is being released November 12th. It's the Shards of Magic series. And it's The Servant of Earth. That's what the first book is called. I loved it. I love this book. I will tell you that I'm not going to read the other 2, though, because I didn't really like the characters in this book. Like, they were fine. So the second book is the best friend of the main female author in this. And then the third book is her boss. Like, the main female character, it's her boss. It's his story that's in the third because he's a werewolf. And I really wasn't, like, impressed by them in this book. Like, not that I didn't like them. It's just, like, nothing caught my attention about them that I was like, nah, I don't really want to. But I am glad that I read this because it was super cute. And I'm really glad I read it because, yeah, like I said, it was super cute. So let's get into it a little bit more. So let's talk about spice. I would say it's about a 2.5 out of 5. It doesn't get spicy. Like, there's a little spice, like, starting, like, halfway. But it's very, like, high school-ish where they're just like bumping and grinding. And then it's not until like 3/4 of the way through where it does start to get a bit spicy. But these scenes are very like skippable. Like you can easily skip them. It doesn't consume their thoughts and constantly thinking about it. Like some a little bit after, but it's not like so overwhelming like these other books, you know? So yeah, easily able to skip it. The spice was good when there was spice. It was pretty descriptive. Just enough so that I was like, ooh, okay, like I like this. And it didn't leave me wanting more. So it's perfect amount. As for the mother sister standard, I do think that they both would like it. It's a very, very cute book. I think my mom would especially like it because it's third person. And she doesn't mind like reading about like paranormal and everything. I don't think she will pick it up though, because it's not one that I will be like pushing for. Like, oh my gosh, you have to read this. But if they ask about it, I'll be like, yeah, definitely read it. And with my sister, she doesn't really like books about witches. It's too close to the devil and very, like, she's not really about that. But like vampires and werewolves and that paranormal she can do. It's just something about witches that she's like, hit or miss. But I think that she would actually really like this book. So if she sees it and wants to read it, I would recommend it to her. So that's the mother sister standard. This is a dual point of view, and I didn't mind that. I actually really liked the main male character, and this I guess could be considered a rom-com. There were some funny moments. It's very lighthearted. There's some like serious moments, of course, but it's pretty lighthearted, and there's some jokes. And the main female character, she's pretty funny, and yeah. So I guess you could consider it that. This is good writing. Like I genuinely enjoyed this writing. It is the author's debut novel. So sometimes first novels, like you can kind of tell they're new to it, but this one, like it was so smooth. I understood the world very well. I mean, it is like our world combined with paranormal. In this world, like the humans, the mortals are aware of the supernatural. And so it's very easy to understand. I really liked the characters. At one point, we'll talk about Oz, who's the main male character, and he's from the demon plane. And even just like description of that kind of subplane of Earth, like it was descriptive, and I understood it well. And about like the different species in the paranormal, like everything I understood very well. And I don't know if it's because I have read paranormal before and kind of understand. But it was all very clear, and there wasn't anything confusing. That at the end I was like, wait, what? Like there was none of that. I thought that it was very clear. The storyline was very clear, what they were building towards, and the world building, character building. The characters were pretty fleshed out. I wouldn't say that the main female character, Mariel, I wouldn't say she's my favorite female character ever. There were some moments where I was like, wow, she's being really immature. But other than that, like there was no red flags about her or Oz, or like I really didn't have complaints. They were pretty like middle of the road characters. So let's get more into the book now that I've kind of told you all the ins and outs of what I do and don't like. Like I said earlier, Mariel is our main female character. She is a daughter of a long line of super powerful witches, and her mom makes sure that she knows that she remembers that. And they've lived in this town for hundreds of years. Her ancestor was one of the founders. And so her mom is the type that just belittles her about everything. And Mariel is supposed to, I mean, she comes from this powerful line. And so her mom is just like, you're not trying hard enough. Like, you're not doing this, you're not doing that. Because Mariel is having a hard time with her magic. Like, she is not able to make it perform how she wants it to. And all these spells go wrong. And she's just kind of been like a downer for most of her life because her mom has been so like, like, you know what I'm saying? Like just destroys her confidence, everything. Just a really bad mother. And so she's lived with that this her whole life. She does have like a very strong magic with nature and plants and everything. And her mom just dismisses that. Like, oh, it's just silly. Like, you and your plants, like, whatever. But she really, like, she works with plants very well. Her flowers, like she's able to really commune with nature, and she's just very in tune, and they respond to her. And it's much bigger than what she thinks it is and what her mom makes it out to be, which is really cool to see that and to see Mariel's growth throughout this whole book. I really, really enjoyed that. Because I don't think she's been challenged enough, but also like I really liked seeing her stand up for herself and build these boundaries with her family, which we'll get into that. So in this book, there is kind of like a twist and a mystery, but I'm not going to spoil that for you because basically, like, there's this forest that's like around their town, and it's on like the ley lines of this magic territory, and it's starting to rot. And so Muriel's trying to heal it with like her power, but she's not able to stop it. And so during this whole book, there's kind of that mystery of like, okay, why is it rotting? Is it because like her mom and the mayor are wanting to tear it down and create this spa? And so they're going behind like the whole town's back, and they're just being really scheming, like, oh, it's just terrible. And so they're trying to figure out, oh, is it this construction that's making it raw, or what is it? And so there's that mystery, and then at the end you find out the circumstances around it and who or what, kind of caused this, and it is very good. I was surprised at the end, and it's kind of just a background plot, because the main plot is that one night she is trying to conjure. Yes, conjure words, flour, like the baking ingredient flour, but she mixes up a word and she summons Oz. His name is Ozroth. He is a demon bargainer. So in the demon realm where he's from, the realm is powered off of these souls from like witches and warlocks. And what these bargainers do, they're kind of an elite demon. They sometimes are summoned, but they find these witches and warlocks that want to make a bargain or a deal for their soul. So they're able to grant really any wish in order to get their soul. And so since she summoned him, he is not able to leave. Like he can't leave until she has made a bargain with him or like gave him her soul. And so that's kind of like the main plot of the story, is that they're trying to figure out how to break this bargain, how to get him sent back. But in the meantime, she's trying to do all these other things, and he has to follow her because they have this bargain, and so he can't be very far away from her. His full name is Ozroth the Relentless, I want to say. Yeah, or no, it's the Ruthless. So he's a very big deal over in the demon realm, and he's very good at his job. And so at the beginning, it's kind of funny because he makes these silly things like, hey, I will do your dishes if you give me your soul. Like he says like throughout the whole book, like these little bargains, and they're kind of funny and cute. So he has to stick next to her. The thing about him though is that earlier, I don't know the timeline, I want to say like a week, maybe a couple days, he was doing this bargain or this deal with this guy, and the guy was about to die, and he said, hey, I'll give you my soul if you make this a peaceful death, like if you make it so I pass over right now. But the guy did this spell, and his wording, like Oz didn't think anything of it. But when the guy did die and the bargain was complete, the soul actually was absorbed into Oz. Like instead of going to the demon realm, helping to power everything, it absorbed into Oz. So now Oz is having feelings. He's feeling emotions. He is figure out like his personality. He cares. He's starting to have all these sensations that he's like, what is happening? Like, I didn't sign up for this. Like, I got to get it out of here. Like, what is happening? And so as him and Mariel are spending time together, he is learning about who he is. He's learning about emotions. He's learning about like his character, and he's growing because he's lived over 200 years with no feeling, no conscious, nothing. And now he's like relearning all of that, and she's helping him, and they're just so cute together. And so slowly they like fall in love. And so he like has to follow her to this protest about this spa. And he figures out like, or he helps her with the rot, and he's like, hey, we got to figure out this, this, and this. He helps her with the research to figure out how to break their deal so that he can go back without her soul. And he's helping like the town. Like he just starts to get more and more involved, which is very cute and very sweet. And he seems like a great person. Like he really helps Mariel figure out who she is and her character growth, and helps her create these boundaries. And he stands up for her, and no one's ever really stood up for her for her before, with her mom. And so he like steps in and helps that way. And it's really nice because like he helps Mariel, but also she's able to kind of put him in his place. Like they just help each other a lot. And I really enjoyed that. I thought that it was very, very clear and good, and nothing was confusing, and it was just so cute. And one thing that I thought was interesting that I wish that there was more into this or about is that when Oz first sees her, he sees that she's very, very powerful, and she's not able to really like tap into that power. So he's trying to help her with her magic as well. And I wanted there to be more with her magic. Like she was able at the end, like to really access it, because it's all about intention. And when her mom was like making her do all these spells and stuff, it wasn't like Mariel's intention. It was for her mom. And so she wasn't doing it for herself. So she does figure out how to really use her power and what she wants to do with it. But there wasn't really like a big moment. I mean, there kind of was, but like there wasn't a big moment where she like realizes like, oh, I really do have all this power. And I thought that was a little bit of a letdown. I wanted her to kind of showcase her power more too. So I wish that there was a little bit more like that, but I did really like how it all ended up, and she felt very empowered from Oz. And of course there's like a little mix up at the end, which I thought that Mariel kind of really jumped to confusions very quickly. And didn't really give like Oz a chance to explain. And there were a couple other things that I don't want to spoil it. But in the end, it all turned out good. And they do figure out how to break the deal, which I was kind of confused about how it was explained. And I won't try to explain it at all because that's a spoiler. But they do figure out how to break the deal, but also still stay together. And they figure out how to save the forest, and she sticks up to her mom and creates these boundaries. Like everything turns out really cute and really good. And again, like the second book is about her best friend, Mariel's best friend, but I didn't really like the best friend. And so that's one of the reasons why I'm like, I don't think I'm going to do this. And also the main male character in the second book is one of the demons that was like Oz's boss, that he was like a douchebag. Like I really didn't like him. There was no redeeming things about him. Now I think in the second book he's getting like kicked out of the demon plane and has to go to Earth, and then somehow they get connected, and it just like wasn't appealing. So I was like, meh, I just like this book. This book was really cute, really worth it. Highly recommend that you pick it up like this month. That would be fun to read in October. Just kind of get you in the spooky mood, you know. And then, yeah, like I said, I am going to be doing The Drop Dead Sisters on Thursday, and then Love in the Time of Serial Killers for next podcast episode for next week. So very excited about that. If you've read those books, let me know what you thought. If you read this one, or Witch's Guide to Fake Dating a Demon, let me know your thoughts. Or if you did read the second or third one, are they worth it? Just tell me your thoughts. I want to know where you're at, or if you're reading any spooky books this month, or just give me the lowdown. Like, tell me what's happening. Update me on your life, on your book history, everything. Wherever you are listening to this episode, I am thankful and grateful for you. If you could rate and review, and subscribe or follow, just whatever platform that you're on, just so that you get notified when I do have the episodes. I want to make sure that you're in the know. I will say in next month, at the beginning of next month, there is going to be a giveaway because I am hitting my 3-year anniversary for this podcast, which is really crazy. So I'm going to have a pretty big giveaway, and I'm really excited about that. So definitely stay tuned. Follow me on Instagram, because that's where I'll really be announcing all of it. And subscribe to my YouTube. It's just Find Me in a Book podcast. That's where the mini episodes are, which the mini episodes aren't on Spotify or like listening, streaming. So you can only see them on YouTube. So I highly recommend that. And I'm just excited that it's October, literally the best month ever. But anyways, grateful for all of you, and I will talk to you next week.